dies.
Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Maritime Wrestling Podcast interview series. And today, finally, we got the great Dave Boyce on the channel. How's it going, buddy?
Finally. I'm great. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Oh, great, man.
Doing amazing. Thank you.
I'm the one that gets the pleasure of starting this with the great Dave Boyce, former
Be gentle.
former co-owner of the Spring Hill Coal Miners. Just want to throw that out there. I love Get Puck personally. I really enjoyed that show. I've watched it like 3 times, so I don't know. What do I know?
Do you know that
humor?
We were the number one non-trailer park show, trailer park boys show on SwearNet?
I believe it.
It was all trailer park boy stuff, and then our show.
I believe it. It was good. I know
show.
a lot of people that watched it. So I mean,
Yeah, it did really, really well. Like, I don't know how they count ratings on SwearNet, but they said it was very well received. So
awesome.
Yeah,
I love that, man. All right, so we'll get into some wrestling stuff now that we've talked about my personal passion. You've worn many hats and suits in wrestling. Ring announcer, you've been a ref, manager, promoter. What's the transition like going role to role for you, Dave?
Well, I first got into wrestling. I'm coming on 12 years.
Yeah, buddy.
I wanted to be a manager. I started, I threw out that video of Damien Cage to be a manager, and everyone told me to go fly a kite. So I started at the bottom. I did the ring announcing, and then I believe it was Peter Smith that said, "Why don't you do a manager gig with us with IHW?" And if you look in my career in the last 12 years, it depends on what color suit I'm wearing is what I'm doing. So when I ring announced, I wore all black. And then when I became like a general manager, I wore nice suits. And then when I became Dave, the manager, I started wearing wild suits. So I just that's what I transitioned. And I just wanted to be, I was so serious, like as a ring announcer, and I just wanted to be the complete opposite as a manager. And I don't think that was Peter's vision of me. He just wanted me to be a manager, but I was like, no, I'm going to turn this up a notch and start wearing stupid suits and being more like, I'm not comparing myself, but Bobby Heenan. Mm-hmm. I just watched the documentary on WrestleMania 9, and they talked about how Bobby's idea was to come out on the camel backwards. And I'd be like, that's what I would have done too. So as a manager, I'm a big fan of physical comedy, Jack Tripper on Three's Company, all that foolishness, tripping over stuff. So that's what I base my character on. And, there's enough serious dudes on the show. You need a little comedy sprinkled in, and I'm that guy.
I love that last IHW show when you slid in and went for the pin. I cracked up, man. I'm in the second row just dying.
Well, see, that's what I mean. So, like, that was for the top Maritime wrestlers. Yeah. And they're in the back, and they're planning every spot. And I'm just sitting there listening to them, and they're, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to kick, we're going to flip, we're going to blah, blah, blah. And then they finally look at me, and they're like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to get in the ring, trip on the rope, and pin someone because JP's partner's on the corner. And they just stared at me, and they're like, okay, where are we going to put that in the match? But I love making fun of myself. And if it gets a chuckle out of you or someone in the audience, then that's my goal.
It's the best, man. As a wrestling fan, I still get lost in it a little bit every now and then, which is trippy. The more I get to know you guys and stuff, I think I get it lost even more, if that makes sense, because I appreciate it even more just knowing the character from the person. But it's so much fun to watch, man. I'm loving it.
It's really hard being in the business and then going to a show as a fan. We just went to WrestleMania, and for the first time in a long time, I was just a fan. So, we were eating, and we were, when Joe Hendrick came out, I popped, and it was great to just, for a minute, forget, that you're in the business and just enjoy a show as a fan again, it was great. So I understand.
There's nothing better than being a fan, man. I'm telling you, I absolutely adore it.
There's not. It's 2 hours of drama and comedy, and it's just the best play, the best theater in the world.
Really is. So we've interviewed a couple of promoters now. New Scott gave us some insight on what it's like for him to promote PWU, which is a wild, amazing promotion. What are some of the things that go into building a show for you that's more storyline driven, like your Parkside shows, versus your spot shows like your Spring Hills and your Parkborough and your Mount Uniacs?
Yeah, it all depends. Like I said before in another podcast, maybe with you guys, I'm not sure. The venue and who you're catering to really affects the way you book a show. So like a bar show, I do bar shows different than, say, Ryan Free did Downtown Wrestling, where he just wanted to do shock, blood, guts, and all that shit. And I just thinking, you go to a bar, you're drinking, you want to have fun and laugh. So that's how I book a bar show. Small town shows, you do a story that will give kids hope. You know what I mean? Like, Rudy beat Gino Ryan in the Battle Royal. Just stuff like that to cater to. If you have 100 kids, you're not going to pull out the old barbed wire.
Depends on what community, I guess. But
Yeah. So with Parkside, I don't really do storylines just because it's a totally different atmosphere there. It's Parkside customers, really. There's like maybe 20 hardcore Maritime wrestling fans that come to it, but the majority is just mom and pops coming in. Oh, wrestling's at the restaurant that we go to all the time. Let's go. And then they're just entertained. They don't know any of the characters. So to do storylines, it's kind of, it's not silly, but you just don't have to.
yeah,
So I book a show just more or less to, have a little bit of something for everyone. So like if there's, have a female wrestler on and she can beat up some guy, everyone at the bar likes seeing a girl beat up a guy, right? And, but yeah, it's just totally different than like my Mount Uniac show where it's family. My Spring Hill show is, again, a totally different beast that I'm taking on. My Dal show in September is going to be a totally different show. So yeah, it's just, hopefully at Dow, I'm going to have 600 college kids. So I'm going to book a show that will entertain that kind of audience. So, yeah, it's a lot of thought.
You're enjoying it?
I am. I love the backstage promoting, booking way more than I'm, breaking news. I'm probably winding down my manager gig soon.
Don't break my heart. Don't break.
I know. I'm sorry, but I'm 53, and Channing Decker almost killed me, and that was a eye-opening. It's like, man, my girlfriend never talked to me for 2 days after that. I couldn't walk. But yeah, I'm probably winding down that and just focusing on backstage stuff. I enjoy that much more now.
So when it comes time to book talent for those community shows, what's your mindset? Like, how do you select the talent that you book for those shows? Because at this point, I mean, let's be honest, you've got connections across the Maritimes and a little bit beyond. Mm-hmm. So what's your mindset when you book those?
There's a handful of guys I'll book on every show, just because of their attitude, their work ethic. No drama. They're the first ones for ring crew, the last ones to leave. Those guys are the reason why it's the same guys wearing belts. They're the same guys that you see on every poster. So, like, there's no secret. The Hollywood Coles, the Jonathan Crosses. You know what I mean? So that is always on the top of my mind. Depends on what area you're in. So, like, if someone is from a town, you're going to book that person because, they're going to sell tickets to their family and friends because they're in that area. But B, just to let them perform in front of their family and friends. It's like when we did Porter's Lake, Max Power lives there. So I'm going to book Max Power. And thankfully I did because it was only his family and friends that came to the show. So yeah, it wasn't one of our finer shows, but but yeah, I have my, you have your core bunch that you always ask first, and then you start reaching out to other people. I try to book matches that have never happened, which is hard in the Maritime. You'll always see me throw out that first time.
Yeah.
I'll be damned if that wasn't my next question.
Dude, it's hard.
I love the man.
So I call, like when I reach out to talent, and I was like, okay, my idea is you're going to wrestle wrestler A. Have you ever wrestled him before? And if they say no, then I'm like, great, perfect. Because, there are a lot of hardcore wrestling fans that go to every show. And you can only watch, wrestler A wrestle wrestler B like so many times. So I always try to, Chip was on your guys' podcast, and he's like, his dream opponent was Chris Cook. He's never wrestled him. I wrote Chris Cook that night. He's like, how would you like to wrestle Chip Chambers in Spring Hill? He's like, fuck, I would love to. I was like, it's done.
Wow.
So I try to do a lot of that. Just mix and match guys that have never wrestled before. Again, it's hard, but yeah. I think I answered your question. I'm
You
sorry.
definitely
keep
answered my
asking.
question. No,
We'll
you
keep
definitely
asking
answered.
people if they've already matched up with somebody else, and then you'll get the tip.
Yes,
from
right.
us.
Can you do that for me?
You know?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we're just gonna keep
our
going.
feedback loop going.
We're just gonna keep going. Who have you never wrestled that you really wish you could wrestle? And then
Yeah.
I'll just tag you in it.
Please do. You don't have to tag me. I listen to your show every week. So
Appreciate you. So let's talk about matches some. With those shows you booked, what match stands out that really blew you away that you booked? Because I can tell you last year in Spring Hill, man, Chip Chambers blew the roof off that place.
yeah.
That was one of the, I don't know that I've had more fun at a show in the last few years than that Spring Hill show. So
I got a lot of backlash and a lot of snickers and eye rolls when I booked Todd McPhee to wrestle Charlie Hubley. And the method of my madness was Todd hasn't wrestled in years. Even if he sells 20 tickets, it'll be worth it. Charlie will get the rub wrestling with a vet. I'm just going to focus just on that match. If you remember the poster, it was just Todd and Charlie. And I treated it like it was like the WrestleMania of Spring Hill. And it worked. There was almost 700 people there. And when Todd walked out, I couldn't hear myself. So that match stands out. Plus, it was Charlie Hubley. Which any Charlie.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love Charlie. Actually, JP and Chip had a banger match in Mount Uniacke for the Maritime Championship. Again, just because it's in a small town. I tell the guys, don't go out and kill yourselves. You don't have to. There's only 200 people out there. They don't get wrestling much. They'll pop for an arm drag. I don't want to see a dive. Just go out and have a good match. But it's JP and Chip. They went out and it was awesome. It was one of the best matches I've seen in a long time. I don't take credit for that. I just write their names on a piece of paper with my pencil. They do the magic. But yeah, that stands out too, that match.
So when it comes to promoting a show, a lot of people, including yourself, are using social media more and more to advertise. But you still also put up physical posters. Why is that form of advertising still so important? Because we don't see every promotion do it anymore.
So small towns definitely poster polls because I was just up in Spring Hill on Sunday postering. A lot of the people in small towns aren't on the internet, believe it or not. Yeah. So you have to put a poster up. I don't poster in Halifax. There's a million posters. You walk by them all. They all look the same. I truly don't think in a major city posters work. That's when you hit Facebook ads, TikTok, Instagram for big towns like this. But, older folks in small towns, they're not on TikTok. They're not on Instagram. So you have to advertise in the area that you're running that will cater to the people. I'm not saying people in small towns are stupid. Please don't think I'm saying that. I just know that they're more likely to see a poster at the shopping center or the grocery store or the Tim Hortons main door as they're walking in for their 8th coffee of the day than they will a Facebook ad. So, yeah you just like I mentioned, I'm doing a show in Dalhousie University. I'm going to completely advertise differently for that area. I'm going to university events. I'm buying a giant billboard for the student union building. So, you look at where you're going, and then you figure out ad-wise how you're going to reach out to the most people in that area. So it just depends on where you're having a show.
True. Cool. So, this is going to be a shocker to you, but we watch a lot of Maritime wrestling. And like most fans, we got our favorites. Guys like Hollywood Cole. What's that?
North Pro.
Well, we like Hollywood Cole.
Man, I'm falling in love with IHW lately.
Yeah.
Good.
Holy, is that a good product right now?
Yeah, it's great. But sorry, go ahead. I just know you're North Pro Marks.
Well, kind of big fans of all of Maritime Wrestling right now because it's such a hot product. But we like guys like Hollywood Cole, Rudy Lockhart, Big Bad LG Logan Green, and those are standouts, newer faces. But you got guys like Thad Howitt that are switching things up in North Pro with their human man characters. Is there any talent that we should be watching right now through your eyes, like new faces or revamped characters?
Yeah, the name that just popped in my head was Dawson James.
Yeah.
Dawson James is probably one of my top 5 or 3 guys right now, like as a fan. Not as a promoter, because I'm not going to say I'm going to book Dawson every show, but I'm a huge Dawson James fan. He's incredible. He's advancing so fast. I just booked him not too long ago for my Spring Hill show in July, and he's like, wow, that's full circle. My first show ever was in Spring Hill last year. And I was like, I booked you in Spring Hill last year? And he goes, no, I was a referee. You were short of referee, and I reffed a match.
Wow.
I was like, holy shit, you did. So he's only been in the business a year. He's dropped weight. He looks great. Other than his finisher maneuver, which I hate, and I tell him all the time to stop doing it, because he won't be able to walk in 10 years. But
top rope leg drop, right?
I hate it.
Yeah.
But Dawson's definitely one of them. You can't go wrong with Rudy because he's just an underdog, and everyone loves that story. God, who else? There's so many people. Ethan, like I said, and you said Cole. Cole, oh my God, Cole. If you look at a picture of Cole when he first started, and now it's
night and day.
And the boys are putting in the work, right? And it's showing. And there's a reason why Cole's always on top of every company he's in. So, let me think. Logan Green is hilarious. I love Logan. Man. I had him booked for one of my shows before he broke his leg or his ankle or whatever it was. So, hoping to get him here in the future. But Dawson James for sure. Watch out for this guy. He's awesome. I wish Dawson was born in the wrestling in the 70s and 80s. Cause
well, that's got that vibe, huh?
Yeah.
I think it was Jason that told me that. He was like, this guy looks like he's been wrestling for 10 years, and it's been maybe 10 months.
Yeah. There was a 4-way last Friday at North Pro. It was shocking that you were there. But it was Dawson with Chip. And
I heard.
Oh, my God, man.
That was a crazy match.
Stole the entire night.
Yeah, right?
Dawson, man, he really impressed me that night.
Chip loves wrestling Dawson. Chip will believe Dawson over as well.
Yeah, amazing.
So last few weeks, we actually talked about the Logan Mania show.
Yep.
You were there at the Bridgewater show as a spectator, I believe.
Yep.
Crowd looked great there. What do you think of this show that North Pro put on, and seeing fresh faces from Ontario like Johnny DeLuca, Jax Williams, and Evan Greenway in the Maritimes?
So Johnny DeLuca, I will probably book him for my Dell show. I fell in love with him. Him and Rudy main event was. I wrote a couple people afterwards, and I said one of the best matches I've seen in the Maritimes in years. So Johnny DeLuca, get ready. I'm calling you.
That guy's got it. Oh man,
I love when people bring in a carload of guys from Ontario or Maine just to mix it up. When I ran Kaizen, that's what we did. And it's not shitting on Maritime wrestling, or because you're not booking so many Maritimers anymore, but just to give the fans fresh matchups. Guys can learn from each other as well. The Maritime scene is totally different than the Ontario scene. So just, I'm sure they appreciate, I'm bringing in Dan for July. Help me out. Reverso. I love him. He's awesome. Cole's so excited to wrestle him.
Oh my god, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be a match stealer show match, I'm sure. I love it. I love when people bring in other people. Like, it just freshens up the product. You learn a little bit from it all, and it only makes the product here better. The Logan Mania show was great. Again, I wasn't booked on it. We just went down to watch it and support it. Plus, they needed a referee shirt. They ran out of one, so I brought mine for them. Great organization. Great. I can't say enough about Bob McNeary and what they did for that show. Like the atmosphere, and it was. Geez, it must have been 500 or plus people there.
Wow.
Fun matches. Just everyone's just having a good time. You know what I mean? And that's what. Yeah.
That's what wrestling's all about, just having a good time.
Yeah, and the best thing about small towns is there are a lot of people that still believe wrestling's real.
Yeah.
And if you can catch someone's eyes in the audience that think this shit's real, that's who you focus on.
Absolutely.
I was at a show in Woodstock, New Brunswick, a couple years ago, and I think I was the only one who was smart to it. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I was scared. I was a little scared for wrestlers, but it was amazing, man.
Yeah, in Spring Hill, I had a guy run up and punch Charlie Hubley in the stomach.
Yes.
And a girl spit right in JP's face. But that's heat, brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You don't
I
see
remember I remember being at a show where I think it was New Hook that was holding Charlie, and he was just getting kids in the audience to chop him. And some guy come running from out of nowhere and just punched him square in the chest. I was like, oh my god, like.
Yeah, there's a lady in Spryfield. I look for her every show. She has no teeth, and she must be 80. And she just reacts. She just fucking. Sorry, am I allowed to swear in this podcast?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
She hates me and JP, so I look for her as soon as I walk out. Come out of that curtain. Where is she? Because she just stands up and she's so over the top that everyone around her feeds off it, and then you got the whole side of the ring already before you even done a thing in the ring. You can't buy that. You can't buy that.
Yeah, for sure.
Our last interview was with Wildman Gary Williams, and he told us you asked us to ask him about the Cauliflower Alley Club. He gave us his perspective as a wrestler, but what's your perspective as a promoter and a manager from the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Anytime you can go anywhere and rub shoulders with the greats and learn, and it's different than going to a seminar and you have like 3 minutes talking to a guy at a table and then you have to move on. Cauliflower is you go sit at a bar for hours. And, when I was a ring announcer, I'd talk to Howard Finkel for 2 hours, and just soaking it in. Tell me more. That's what I like about CAC, because it's just 3 days of mingling, learning, networking, learning again. But yeah, it's I love it. I wish, if you're a wrestling fan, which I know you guys all are, if you're an historian and love the older guys and the stories and stuff, CAC, I'm telling you right now, is worth every penny. I love it. This is this might be my 10th year going. Ninth or 10th. Except for COVID. I didn't go the year of COVID. Yeah. But it's just great. The banquet itself is boring as hell. They're kind of outdated. They need to do something to attract younger people. We growl up with that every year, but no one listens to us. But yeah, I mostly go just to see Ron Hutchison and Bobby Bass and all them again. That's how we where we see each other every year, and just have a great 3 or 4 days of just talking wrestling and old school stuff, which I love. And it's fun.
One of these days, the Unofficial Maritime Wrestling Podcast will be there for sure.
Sounds good, right? And just set up a table, and then people come up, and I go, "Oh, where are you guys from?" And you can say, "Oh, the Maritimes," and then you'll be shocked how many people have connections to the Maritimes.
Yeah.
I was talking to J.J. Dillon one time, and I was talking about his Hall of Ring, WWE Hall of Fame ring, and he said, "Where are you from?" I said, "From the Maritimes." I said, "Actually," he goes, "Oh, the Maritimes. Oh my God, I used to wrestle Leo Burke and stuff in Amherst." And I was like, "Leo's downstairs." He goes, "What? Go get him!" Run down the escalator, find Leo at Leo's bar, we call it. I said, "Leo, J.J. Dillon's upstairs, wants to talk to you." So then Leo, hobbled upstairs with me, and I was just sitting here like a kid in a candy store, listening to J.J. Dillon and Leo Burke talk about the Maritimes, and it's really cool. So I'm like, if you guys sat there and put like a big sign that you're from the Maritimes, you'd be shocked how many people come up and go, "Hey, I used to wrestle there." It's cool.
Yeah, that must have been a surreal moment for you, like with your hero Leo Burke, and you're like, "Hey, your old rival's up there. Come with me." Like, I never got to meet the Ultimate Warrior, but you got to be friends with your hero. How was that?
So I didn't know Leo was going to CAC, and I've never been on a show with him. I've gone as a fan and just kind of met him. "Hi, can you sign this?" And then off I went. So when he showed up, I was like, "Holy shit!" Mentally, I was like, "I'm going to spend a week with Leo Burke. I need to get to know this man." And within, I think, 30 minutes, I finally mustered up the courage to go out and go, "Hi, I'm Dave from the Maritimes." And we talked all week. I'm an early bird, and so is he. So every morning I'd go down, and Leo would be sitting at the bar, and it was just me and him. And I had Leo to myself for about an hour before all the other yahoos start waking up. And, I just pick his brain and listen to stories, and he took me out for dinner. And, became good friends with him every time he was in town and stuff. We'd done shows with him, and I've traveled with him. And, I have something coming up in the spring of 2026 that has something to do with Leo Burke. So there's a little spoiler for you.
Spoiler. We're looking forward to that. Let's go back to Gary Williams for a second.
Sure.
He had great things to say about you. He did not have a bad word to say about you.
Fuck you.
What are some of your best memories of Gary Williams?
Oh my God. He won't kill me for? Gary's very antisocial. So to get Gary out for anything, it's to get him to Vegas. Holy smokes! Like, I was shocked that we got him to Vegas. Now he comes every year. So, I used to have pay-per-view parties, and James Smith used to always come, and James and Gary are like super tight. And I said, "Oh, invite Gary. That'd be great. Bring Gary to my house." So he comes, he sits down. It's for WrestleMania, I think. And I'm just like streaming it. I don't have it hardwired into my TV. So the picture's wasn't at par for Gary. Apparently he lost his mind. He should have stayed home. His picture looked way better. And I heard it for the whole night. I love Gary. Gary's just a cranky old man like me. And, we're about the same age, which is weird because he's such a great shape and I'm me. Like I said, our trips to Vegas are always a blast. This past year when we went, I'm going to embarrass him now. So sorry, Gary, but he loves his dog more than I've ever seen anyone love a dog in their life. And for a week, he just stared at a photo of his dog. And he missed the dog. And if he saw a dog on the strip, he'd go over and then show the person the picture of his dog. It's like, Jesus Christ, Gary.
That's awesome.
And
Man's best friend.
Home, his dog was waiting for him at the airport, and he like literally passed his girlfriend and just went to the dog. I was like, I want someone to love me this much.
You and Madison Miles go way back. How is it having her back in the rings in the Maritimes?
Having Maddie back?
Yeah.
She's a pain in my ass. No, Maddie's great. Maddie's I've been attached to Maddie since Wrestle Center. When I was ring announcing and I didn't have anybody to ring the bell, I asked the little girl in the front row with the binders of 8x10s if she'd ring the bell. And that was Madison. And the whole time I'd say, Maddie, ring the bell, because she was doing something else. Maddie, ring the bell. So like from day one, she's been a thorn in my side. But I love her. I mean, I carry on with her and stuff. She's like my little sister. And now that she's an adult and doing adult things, I still see 12-year-old Madison. So it's weird for me, but it's great to have her back. She was gone for so long doing her UK thing.
Yeah.
We brought her in for the Mythos. So it was great to do that. But I'm glad she's back. She was, the maritime wrestling scene needs as many females as we can possibly
Absolutely.
get. Like, as crazy as this sounds, at her age, she's like a vet. Which is, crazy. So yeah, it's great to have her back.
You've recently reinstated the Firm with Madison Miles. Do you have any funny stories about the original Firm in that original run?
Yeah, God. That was one of the funnest times in my wrestling career. I'm pretty sure. Just because I was with Titus. And Titus is near and dear to my heart. One of the absolute best in the ring, but even better out of the ring. He's like a character. So you guys don't see it, but in the ring, when he's walking by me, he's whispering like awful things to me as I'm trying to be serious. The Firm at first was, again, it was supposed to be very serious. The whole gimmick was what's in my briefcase, but that, just went out the window after Mike and Pete left, and then we turned it more into a comedy thing. The Firm, we had a lot of members. I remember that too. And one of the best nights that stands out was the night that Squishy gave me his shares of the company. They just did the story on TSN with his dad, and everyone was so, the heartstrings were pulled, and then Squishy turned heel, and that's, Dave's evil, and that was a fun night. I don't know how many messages IHW got that night, like fuck Squishy, fuck Dave, fuck, it was awesome. And probably my favorite match was the Madison Chantel street fight that went so not what it was supposed to be. Between the garbage can spot, if you remember, where I got stuck in it and I couldn't get out for the life of me. Chantel broke a window. Madison cracked her head wide open. And my pants ripped. It was a fun night. It was a fun night.
Speaking of Madison, aside from being a wrestler, you mentioned Ragnarok earlier. That was a fantastic show. I believe Corey and Corey were there as well. What did it take to get that here? Like, how did that come about?
Oh my God, it's such a sore spot for me to talk about. We lost so much money. However, to get Mythos here was a lot of work. To fly a cast over from the UK, there was like 12 or 13 of them. They couldn't fly with their swords, so we had to buy swords here, which is actually still sitting here.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I got the cast all signed. You can't bring one of these bad boys on a plane, so we had to buy them.
So
they're $300 each. Dealing with theaters was the worst experience of my life. They are so stingy and full of crazy rules and regulations, and we were going to quit, I think, 5 times. Like, fuck this. Riverview wasn't a theater. We had to buy everything to make it look like a theater. The show itself, fantastic. I wish
Hands
so many
down.
people should have seen it. One of a kind show. One of a kind. In the hour and 45 minutes that the show was going, loved it. All the other stuff, hated it. It was quite the ordeal, and at the end of it, I was glad it was done and over with. But I wouldn't change it. I met some dear friends from the cast. Some I will never talk to again. But yeah, if you guys saw it, you know what I'm talking about. It was
It was unbelievable.
great. I just wish more people came. But
Yeah.
I missed it. My bad.
I will forever be appreciative that you brought that to the Maritimes because it was really a privilege to see that. It was just, man, not often again that you can completely forget about everything and just enjoy that. But during the two scenes, nobody had their phones out.
Nope.
Like it's unbelievable. You completely detach from everything and just enjoy it.
Yeah. And we casted Big T in it too because the guy that was supposed to play that actor the last minute couldn't come, so T had to learn his part literally the night before opening night, and he killed it. And I just love seeing.
Fantastic, yeah.
And it was funny. I didn't realize how funny it was because you only see clips, and they're fighting or they're wrestling, but the dialogue and the story was fantastic. And I just wish more people. I think it was a missed opportunity for a lot of people not going to see it.
100%.
Oh, 100%.
And a lot of it lies on us. I mean, we advertise as much as we possibly could, but I mean, you can't. I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, theater's not for everybody.
No, and I think the theater people saw wrestling and were turned off, and a lot of the wrestling fans saw theater. And they're like,
yeah.
So,
But yeah, I found it fantastic. I'm a big theater guy, and of course, I'm a big wrestling guy. So it was right down my wheelhouse. It was perfect.
yeah, I think it's fantastic.
A lot of people may not know, but you're also involved in the film industry as well, correct?
I am.
So Corey spoke about Get Pucked earlier. You did Turnbuckles, Real Wrestling. Recently, you've been doing vertical dramas with, was it a Chinese company?
Yeah, there's a Chinese director. There's an app in China that you can download, and all the movies are vertical, and every episode is 1 minute. So the whole movie is broken down into minute episodes. So when you download the app, you get the first 10 episodes for free. But then after that, you have to pay if you want to watch the rest of the movie. Apparently, it's very popular. So that's what he does. So he comes and he made a partnership with Tyron Hawkins, who owns his production company that I work for. And yeah, we've done 2 now. They've done 3. They just did one at PEI. They huge success over there. I've not seen any of them. Other than my part, they'll send me a clip of my part, but it's very interesting, and it's when they're filming here, we hire local film like camera, lighting, and all that stuff. So it's all new to them too. Like they have all new, if you spend 5 years filming a movie the way movies are shot, and then all of a sudden you now have to film a movie that will fit in a TikTok. You know what I mean? Like they're learning too. So it was pretty cool to see that type of filming done. So
what's it like to work like with an international crew, like guys from over there, compared to like the stuff that you've done here locally with like SwearNet or whatever?
Yeah. So you get to meet a lot of new people. Their ways are different. Like I said, Chang, his name is. He's from China. He's the director. Very. Just different than us, Canadian boys, you know what I mean? So you have to adapt to how you deal and talk and stuff like that with them. But for the most, like I said, we mostly hire local crew. Like Tyron has like his own crew that he deals with a lot. Same camera guy, same light guy, same makeup artists and stuff like that. So for the most part, the crew you already know because you've been on enough projects with them. But every show or every movie has some new people. I always say I always meet a new best friend on each set, someone new that you just click with. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like wrestling too. It's like I like the back being behind the camera doing stuff. Like I was the assistant director for Turnbuckles, and I had a little spot acting in it, but I'm not a good actor, so I'd rather just do stuff behind the scenes. So
I don't know. You got shot by Andre pretty good, dude.
I did, yeah.
I also noticed that there's like I say, Andre, a lot of talent in these movies. I've seen Rudy Dawson, Hugh Hook.
Yep.
What's it like? Do you have any funny stories like being on set with these guys in that type of environment versus like a wrestling environment?
It's funny. A lot of the TV people love working with wrestlers because they act. That's what we do, right? And at the end of the day, we're actors.
100%.
So you can tell a wrestler, and I'll just say Rudy, for example, just because you just said his name. Rudy, Charlie Hubley. Perfect example. We had Charlie in the horror movie we did. Wrestlers can memorize a 30-minute match in an hour.
Yeah.
And they don't even talk English to each other. They go, okay, then I'll do boom, 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 and then you bam, 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 and flippy, floppy. And like they just have this own language in the locker room that they're putting this and I'm like, how do you remember all this stuff? So when you put them in front of a camera acting, you give them lines, they're the best. They remember everything. So like Charlie can read his dialogue once or twice, and then he doesn't even look at it again. He knows it. So like people in the film industry love working with the wrestlers because they take direction, they act, they do their scene, and then they go and sit in the corner. Whereas, some actors are like, oh my God,
Yeah, let's do it again. My hair wasn't right.
Right?
My hair.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen Reefer Beast, the stupid horror movie we did, but Charlie was fantastic in it. And there's a scene where he's masturbating in the bed, and the crew was
one of my questions.
The crew was laughing so hard we had to kick them all out except for the director and the cameraman. It was awesome. But yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So other than that masturbation scene, is there any other funny stories like from the set, especially from that movie? Because Charlie was unbelievable in that movie.
Yeah, like Charlie was. Everyone falls in love with Charlie, no matter if he's wrestling or acting or just being Charlie. He had a scene at the end where he was dying, and well, I'm not spoiling anymore. It's been out for 2 years. So the weed monster stabs him, and then the weed grows up and then comes out of Charlie's mouth, and it's just stupid. But we had to fill his mouth with blood and then put a rubber weed plant in it too. So when he pulled it out, it would all come out at once. And he must have choked on that. Fuck, I don't know how many times. I wish they did a blooper reel because.
Oh my God, that would have been fantastic.
Or he would cough and only one leaf would fall out, but all the blood would fall out. So we'd have to do it all again. That was great.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I have a question actually to that. Like, where can we find these movies? It's all on SwearNet as of this moment?
The majority of the stuff that we do is with SwearNet. Okay. Turnbuckles is there. Or the Curse of the Reefer Beast is there.
Real Wrestling's on Tubi right now.
Real Wrestling.
Apple TV.
Jesus. We just did that during COVID because we wanted to give boys some money and, get them some work, and we whipped that up in 3 days. So we just did Halifax Homicide Season 2. That's on Bell.
Cool. Right on. I remember the first season.
Yeah, we just filmed the second season up in Spring Hill, actually. So we took cast and crew of Spring Hill for a week and put some money in my community, and it was great. We were the talk of the town.
Cool.
Bell TV1 has some of Tieran's shows.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Halifax Homicide is also on Tubi, if I'm not mistaken.
The first season? Yeah. So Bell keeps them. I think the way Bell works is they have rights to a show for I think 31 days, and then after that, you can start shopping it around to other places. But I could be wrong. But yeah, for the majority of the shows that we've been talking about, it's SwearNet, and SwearNet's like $3 a month.
Yeah.
So even if you want, if you
Yeah.
want to buy it and power slam through all the shows and then unsubscribe,
Yeah. Well, I have a subscription. It's $24.99 a year. So I mean,
yeah,
and there's a lot of good content. It's funny.
yeah. And again, a lot of wrestlers are in the actual Trailer Park Boys show. If you watch it, you'll see, Remy Petit's in it, Tieran's in it a lot. But yeah.
Is there any film project or anything that you're currently working on or coming down the pipeline?
Nothing yet. I have an idea that I'm going to write and hopefully shop around, but that's a long ways away. So just one of those things that you put on the shelf and say, "Oh, I'm going to do that someday."
Cool.
But nothing right now. I know Tyrion has a couple projects in the works, so usually once he has something, he gives me a call and say, "Hey, you want to help?" And I'd love it. So
cool. So getting back to wrestling, you get 2 shows advertised coming up next couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
Parkside Pub Beach Party 2 in June in Dartmouth.
Yep.
What you had mentioned earlier that you like trying to put the first time of guys together. Julian Young against Ethan Knight. That's going to be a crazy match, I think. Julian Young, as per Cage Match, this is only his 5th match outside of IHW in the last 5 years.
I know. I had him in Springfield last year. The reason why a lot with this show coming up in June, ECPW is having the show the exact same night, and Sheldon booked up pretty well everyone. I was like, all right, I just think outside the box. Who can I bring in that hasn't been here for a while? And I start reaching out to the Chris Charters and the Julian Youngs, and so let's do it.
Cool. And you've also got the Parkside Pub, or not Parkside Pub, but the Supercard in July. That looks
that one's under the Dave Boyce Championship Wrestling umbrella, I believe. So I just want to state that.
DBCW.
I was waiting for them to do that.
You're welcome.
That looks Supercard. The matchups are crazy. You've got Gary Williams and Sabotage in a 6-man tag team. It's going to be fun to watch Gary in ring again, even if he blows up in 5 minutes, like you said on the last interview.
And I haven't announced their opponents yet, so it's going to be a really fun match once I announce who they're wrestling.
Cool. So yeah, and you mentioned the Chip and Chris match as well. I had talked to Chip before he did his first North Pro show. And I had asked him who he had never wrestled before. And he had said Chris. And he says, I wonder if that would be possible. I said, if you want it to be possible, you got to put it out in the universe. You know what I mean? You can't. So that's, I think, why he brought it up on that interview. So
yep. Cool. Well, I have you to thank for it then.
And you've also got the Todd the Bod McPhee Lifetime Achievement Award. How'd that come about?
So I reached out to Todd. I reach out to Todd every year. 2 years ago, I said him and Charlie blew the house off, like the roof off. The following year, I reached out to him again and said, hey, Supercard 3 is coming up. I just want to give you a chance if you want to, do something. Like I can even make you a referee or whatever. And he basically was like, I think I got one left in me if it's a tag. I said, done. I'm done. I can do that. So this year, he was waiting for me to text him. I was like, hey, it's that time of year. And he was like, no. So I said, are you coming to the show? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to come. I want to, Gary's on. I really want to see Gary and Chris Cook. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, I want to do something for you. I said, for all you've done for the Spring Hill scene, in wrestling, the Maritime scene, Canada, the whole, whatever. And if you're done, then I just want to thank you. And would it be okay if I did an award for you? And he's like, oh my God, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I don't expect that. And I said, no, I want to do it. And where it's the 15th anniversary of his and Gary's cage match in Spring Hill, and Gary's on the show, which will probably be one of his last ones too. I'm sure Gary's getting near the end as well. I just thought the stars were aligned, and so we're just going to do a little something for Todd, and thank him, and his family are all coming for it, and yeah. And then next year, Supercard 5, I'll bring him up. I'm done with that. Wipe my hands.
Special guest ring announcer, Todd the Bod McPhee.
And then Supercard 6, Todd's going to present an award to Gary Williams.
Yes, of course, right?
So on and so forth. Gary Williams as a guest commentator or whatever.
But yeah, Hollywood Cole and Reversal are going to, steal the show. Madison Miles against JP. Again, they've never wrestled each other, and their chemistry outside of the ring is fantastic. So it just made sense. Fuck, let's do it. And so that's going to be a really fun, entertaining match. Jonathan
You're going to be torn on that match. You're going to be torn. Where are you going? What are you going to do?
I always ring announce my show, my Spring Hill show.
Well, so, is it going to be as a neutral party, or
of course,
what's going on there?
Jonathan Cross is defending his title against Ethan, so that'll be a great opening match. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Spring Hill's always fun.
Yeah, I think we may have to make a trip and go down and see it.
I hope so, because it's my baby.
We've been going since the second one, I believe, and it's a July tradition now, and we're not missing this one.
Sweet, good.
Paisanos.
Yeah.
Just that's enough reason for me.
Makes me miss the coal miners a lot.
Yeah. Let's talk about mythos.
Oh man. I'm going to touch on honestly what's a little bit of a big question, I feel, but there's questions on a weekly basis that are sent in from listeners from all around the Maritimes, even if they are outside the Maritimes. You know what? Whatever. We'll answer it as long as it touches on the Maritime wrestling scene. But as of right now, what would you say is the current state of Maritime wrestling? How do you feel about it as a fan, but also as a promoter?
The state of Maritime wrestling is red hot. Every company is drawing hundreds of people. It's insane. On the other side, there's so much Maritime wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That you're almost tripping over each other. I'm booking people for shows 6 months from now. Like I shouldn't be doing that. But if you don't, you miss out because there's 5 other shows happening. However, the show, just in the last 3 weeks, every time a show posts like a crowd shot, there's hundreds of people enjoying this product right now. Mm-hmm. I remember going to UCW as a fan, and there was 23 of us in the audience, and Ricky Steamboat was on the card. It made no sense. And half of those people were Chuck's family members. Now, I was on IHW last week. Riverview was sold out. Mm-hmm. North Pro just had a show at their new venue. It was packed. The Logan Mania show had 500. ECPW is a beast of his own. They have 600. CCW, I don't know what they're doing, but they draw 600-700. Red Rock Wrestling sells 400 to 500, 600. It's crazy. So in that part, fantastic. The state of I will say the only thing I have a negative view of right now, and I don't know if it will ever be fixed, is a lot of the new kids that are training and coming out aren't taught the old traditions. So, Titus was just at an IHW show and no one knew who he was or went up and shook his hand. Dick Durning was at a UCW show last year, and he came up. He's like, not one person came up and shook my hand. And maybe I'm old-fashioned that way, but I just find a lot of the new kids now don't know the history of Maritime Wrestling. I wish the trainers would say, hey, guys, here's your homework. Go watch a match from 1992. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just to know who paved the way. So other than that, the Maritime Wrestling scene is like on a whole nother level right now. It's not hard to see. Look at Pro Wrestling Unleashed. It sells out in fucking 6 hours. 6 hours. I wish I had that.
Was insane. Yeah,
that's a great problem to have, right? The crew that are wrestling right now, they're all great. They're all, there's hardly any drama. I remember when I got in the business, it was a lot of drama and just shitting on everyone to make you feel better about yourself and stuff like that. I find that has gone. The community, it's very not tight, but
more inclusive.
I guess. Just, I'm not out for myself. I'm here to make the whole product as a team good. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that has changed throughout the years. I think, and just the new kids now, man, they're so talented. Good Lord. Like I said, Rudy just had that match at Logomania with sorry, what's his name again?
Johnny DeLuca.
Yeah. And my mouth was like, and it wasn't just Johnny, it was Rudy too. Like, I'm like, dude, this kid's 22, whatever it is. Like, so Maritime Wrestling's in for the next 10 to 15 years is in good hands,
Yeah.
Us fossils who are ready to sail away. It's in good hands.
Yeah. And honestly, like the way that I see it, like, encourage them, right? Because like you never know when a person's like, shit, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I getting it through to these guys? Like, am I showing up for the right reasons? Like, whatever, just that's why we show up, right? We enjoy encouraging these guys, and we enjoy giving them shit when they want us to give them shit, right?
We want,
exactly.
We want you to shit on us if we're the heels, and
exactly.
You can never boo enough.
Yeah, because it means you're doing your job right.
Exactly. Stop making me fucking laugh then.
Did I make you laugh?
Yeah. I'm here trying to give you some shit, and then you do some dumb shit and I laugh. I'm like, God damn it, Boyce. How am I gonna curse at you right now?
What was the line that he used at IHW that made you laugh? You sent me that at 2 a.m. about the homeless man.
Oh, the guy that collects the jackets.
Oh my God. Like, again, I'm here trying to shit on Boyce, and then Boyce goes, Maddie, give the homeless man your jacket, and I'm dying in the second row.
I went backstage afterwards. I was like, dude, are you okay with me calling you homeless? He said, no, that was great. Do it again. I said, all right. That's our thing.
He's into.
Yeah, is that the same guy that's like LG's like
100%.
I'm coming back, but I'm hurt guy, like when he's limping around? That's the same guy, okay.
One of my favorite things to do for ICW is actually during intermission, because heels don't go out. Like we always say, heels stay back, faces go out, make the money. But I'll go out. I don't fucking care. And I'll just walk around. I stay away from the merch table, but I just walk around. The kids come up and like almost like Ronald McDonald, just walking around in my costume. And they just want for pictures, and I growl at them, and I throw them my money, and then take it back from them. And it's like my favorite 15 minutes of an IHW show.
And I love it. I love that part of it, especially when at least one heel comes out, and like they get all of the attention at that one moment.
Yeah, there was a guy dressed up as me at Pro Wrestling Unleashed one time, and he's like chirping at me, and I turned around and I got a glimpse of him, and then I looked back at the ring, and I was like, wait a minute, was he dressed up as me? I completely lost where I was in the match. I just turned around and started talking to him and his buddies. I was like, oh, fuck, I got a job to do. I got to go back to
work. Oh, man, that's hilarious. So look, kind of as a last question on my end. So other than the shows that we mentioned, the Supercard and the Bash beach party. Sorry, I was going to say Bash at the beach there. My bad. Copyright infringement. Yeah. But anyway, where else can people find you in the near future in your unique fashion?
So in UCW, we have a show the end of this month, and I'm doing a storyline where I'm crippled and dead. So
And
you
you
are.
Tyler Decker.
yeah, we have a plan for that. IHW has a show the following month, so I'm there all year doing stuff for them. I have a big show that I'm doing, but I'll be behind the scenes for the Dalhousie show, so you won't actually see me. But as a manager, it's just right now UCW and IHW. There's talks of bringing me into ECPW every once in a while, but with JP, but not right now. North Pro, I did the North Pro show here, but I haven't been to Moncton yet, or Riverview now. So it's on my bucket list before I hang up my 37 suits.
And colorful shoes.
My colorful shoes. Timu's going to miss
Love
me
the
when I
shoes.
retire.
Love the
God,
shoes.
just sell your shares.
I have so many now. It's insane. I try to wear one a show. But now that the tariffs are in, Timu tells you have to spend at least $35.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wear suits twice now. I can't afford that $35.
Sad times in the world, eh? Man, oh man.
I blame Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, no, IHW and UCW. And Pro Wrestling Unleashed has a show coming up again, and I'm there as Mr. David A. Boyce as well.
Cool. Honestly, like on my end, I'm trying to coax the guys there, but to make it one wrestling show a month, and honestly, I would love if we could make it to that Supercard show in Spring Hill. So
I hope you do. It's
we're going to be there.
I would love
We'll
it.
be there.
I usually do 5 matches, but I'm doing 6 this time just to change it up a little bit. But yeah, it's fun. We put a lot of work into it, and like I said, the whole Todd thing too, giving a little award this year will be nice, little touch too. And
So is this the lifetime achievement? Is this going to be something you're going to be doing going forward every year, or
no, there's always talks, and I throw the idea out probably every year for the last 7 years of doing a Maritime Wrestling Hall of Fame. And then I forget about doing it until I go to CAC, and I was like, oh, fuck, we should do this back home. And me and Chip Chambers and Brody Steele, we're going to partner up and actually do it 1 year, and then it just went to the wayside again. So, yeah, I want to do something. I always say every year there should be like an end of year, even like a Christmas party, or like just, the wrestlers and their spouses, like, do something. Because we're so, we see each other every weekend, and we're all like huggy, and I love you, and then we don't see each other again to the next show. It's like, it'd be nice just to, some of the best times in wrestling is the 6-hour drive in the car, or the sitting in the hotel room after our show, because we actually get to converse and be with each other
as a human and not a performer?
And not talking about who's going to suplex who. So, yeah, I think I would love to see a Maritime Hall of Fame. I don't know if it could be done, but you'd have to. You have to organize a committee, because it can't just be one person deciding who gets what, because then, if you give it to them, same as WWE Hall of Fame. Coco Beware. How dare they give Coco Beware?
The only thing that would really suck about a Maritime Hall of Fame is the real old-time legends are pretty much all dead.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's really, when you look back in my era, like growing up, like the Bobby Basses and the Leo Burks and the Steve Pettipas and the
era.
Bulldog Bob Brown, right, like, the Cuban Assassin. Who's left out of that? Just out of that, like Steve Pettipa,
Even
Bobby
Bass is still there, and Cuban's still alive, right?
Cuban is, but he's I hear he's not doing well. So, but yeah, like for you to do a Hall of Fame. A lot of it would just be, hey, in honor of Leo Burke, here's someone to come up and get the award from him. So, but you know what? The next crop of legends who are now retiring, the Cowboy Mike Hugheses, the Peter Smiths, the Tituses, we got a whole new crop of legends that we all look up to.
Gary.
Yeah. So there's still lots of people that are deserving of getting recognized. It's just a matter of someone finally going, you know what, let's do it. And if it's me, we'll see. I love giving back. Maybe I'll get a little taste of it when I do the thing with Todd and go, fuck, that was nice. We should do it once a year and name 3 or 4 people. Yeah. And then to be like, oh, where are you going to have it? Halifax? Moncton? PEI? Like, it's just the headache is already rolling in my head thinking about the process of doing it. So you never know. Never say never in wrestling.
I mean, if you're going to do it as an annual thing, you would want to rotate it per province every year.
And that's one of the ideas that, like I said, me, Chip, and Peter were planning it a few years ago. And we said that we would just 1 year New Brunswick, the next year Nova Scotia, the next year. And it also depends on who you're honoring. So, like, the majority of the people, if they're from New Brunswick, then why would you make all their family and friends travel to Nova Scotia?
Yeah.
So, but,
Well, every Hall of Fame has its place, right? Just like football's in Canton, Ohio, and baseball's in Cooperstown. And
I even went 1 year to the Halifax Forum and asked about having a wall. And shut down pretty quick. I'll be back next year. The greasy wheel gets the grease. If I just keep bugging them, they're like, "Fuck it, give him a wall somewhere."
That'd be awesome.
Who cares?
Give Dave 6 bricks down that hole.
Yeah, right.
That bathroom there from the reality of wrestling.
So with that being said, first time for Dave Boyce on the new channel. Most definitely will not be the last. Anytime you're not too busy, you want to join us, give us a little message and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything you guys do too. It's always great that there's different avenues to get the word out for Maritime Wrestling. So, like, you guys are a form of advertisement. You guys go down the cards and stuff like that, and some people sit home all day and listen to podcasts. So that's how they get the news, and it's guys like you that do it. So thank you for what you guys do as well.
Well, thank you very much for that. Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, that'll be the end of this episode. Thank you to Dave Boyce once again, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember to catch us here every Wednesday for a new episode. Please visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and more. Links are in the description. See you next time.
Don't miss out and don't be late. Hear wrestling talk that's first rate. Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock.